Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Troy Clayton, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Pollard. 2026 marks 125 years of dedicated service by the Australian Army and its predecessors. Today we remember and pay tribute to Private Ephraim Jarvis and warmly welcome his family who are in attendance today. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Return and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Thank you. If you're able, you may be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private Ephraim Jarvis. Ephraim Jarvis, known to his family as Billy, was born on the 2nd of February 1896 in Ballarat, Victoria, to John Jarvis and Anne Elizabeth Gangle. He was the youngest of their 4 sons. By 1899, the family had moved to Western Australia, where his sister Dora was born. 2 more sisters were born in the early 1900s, but both died in infancy. Jarvis attended Plympton School in East Fremantle, after which the family moved to the Perth suburb of Leederville. After leaving school, he became an iron worker and stove maker. Following the outbreak of the First World War in August 1914, Jarvis enlisted alongside an older brother, Daniel, at Leederville on the 1st of March 1916. They were issued consecutive service numbers and sent to Black Boy Hill Camp for their initial training. The brothers were then allotted to the 12th Reinforcements to the 28th Australian Infantry Battalion. On the 17th of April, they embarked from Fremantle with other reinforcements aboard the transport ship Aeneas, bound for England. On arrival, the brothers were sent to the 7th Training Battalion in Rolleston. While in England, they may have crossed paths with another brother, Reuben, who had enlisted in September 1915 and sailed as a reinforcement to the 11th Infantry Battalion. Reuben was in England after being wounded near Fleury in northern France at the end of May and was convalescing by mid-July. In late July, Daniel was charged and fined for overstaying a leave pass. It is highly likely that he and Ephraim were enjoying the local nightlife together, as only a day later, Ephraim was hospitalised with a dermatological condition. Daniel was sent to France in September, while Ephraim was still in hospital. It was not until December that he was declared fit and sent to France, arriving on the 22nd of the month. Daniel was at Etaples at the time, and it is very likely the brothers were able to meet. However, Daniel, who was on his way back to the battalion after recovering from trench foot, left the next day. Ephraim spent several weeks at Etaples before joining the 28th Battalion and reuniting once more with his brother on the 18th of January 1917. The battalion spent the rest of the month in training before they spent February rotating between the front line, support trenches and reserve lines. Daniel was wounded on the 11th of March 1917 during battalion training drills. In early April, he returned to the battalion, which was out of the line, resting and training. By this time, the German army was withdrawing to its prepared defensive positions known as the Hindenburg Line. However, they did not go quietly. On the night of the 14th and 15th of April, they attacked the Australian front lines near Vival. The 11th Battalion was heavily hit, and Reuben Jarvis was captured when the Germans overran the battalion's sentry outposts. He survived captivity and returned to Australia in 1919. As the German attack continued, the 28th Battalion marched to the village of Vaux. Patrols were sent out, but there were no encounters with the Germans. On the 19th of April, the battalion entered the front line near Noyelles. Throughout the day, the battalion was subjected to desultory German shell fire and 2 men were killed. One of them was Ephraim Jarvis. There was no record of his burial, and after the war, his name was added to the Villers-Bretonneux Memorial. He was 21 years old. The following month, the 28th Battalion suffered heavy casualties and Daniel was badly wounded. However, he recovered and returned to the battalion. By war's end, he had been promoted to corporal. He returned home and was discharged in June 1919. John and Annie Jarvis received 3 telegrams in May 1917. The first stated that Reuben was missing. The second informed them of Ephraim's death, and the third of Daniel's wounding. The war had not yet finished with the Jarvis family. Ephraim's eldest brother Herbert had attempted to enlist in May 1916, but was deemed medically unfit after he was found to have vascular disease of the heart. He died aged 27 in May 1918. This evening, a photograph of Ephraim standing on the right and his brother Daniel seated on the left is displayed by the pool of reflection. Ephraim Jarvis's name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Ephraim Jarvis, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall not grow old as we that are left grow old. Age will not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We'll remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub of Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.